Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode. Hate to break it to you. I'm going to do something a little different tonight. I've just got off stage and I'm coming in hot and I like to give fresh takes. I'm not really mad. I'm just all hyped up. I was getting heckled by a comedian, but it was like a newer comedian. How can I say this? I wasn't really going to go off because I actually had a nice time. I think we're too concerned in this world about labels, and we got to stop calling ourselves labels. I'm not even really mad, so I don't want to go off on it. But this is just a note to young comedians out there. It's my opinion. You can tell me to, or you can take it. 6 young comedians on the show tonight. 6 very respectful comedians. Amazing. 1 other comedian in the crowd, a little bit drunk. I was having fun, though, so I'm not really mad. And I was having fun, and they were having fun. I just want to say that, if I don't label myself, like, I remember this, like, I think because of Instagram and different things that you have to pick a label on the gram. And I really wish it would say, like, aspiring comedian or trying to be an actor or wannabe rapper, like, because my book is called Wannabe, and for 5 years, 4.5, but definitely 4.5, but possibly 5, I struggled very hard, which just doesn't seem like a long time now, but in the middle of it, it felt like 50 years. We didn't have phones. We didn't even have cell phones yet. No social media, and to get a tape and to scan it and to get a picture, and it was a whole to do just to get a tape, to get a piece of tape, and like to get footage of yourself doing a craft was just incredibly difficult. And then to deliver it, you had to drive, and there was no like overnight mail. It wasn't easy as it is now. It was FedEx and stuff, obviously, and I think that I never told people what I did because of the judgments of the normal person. The normal person doesn't know your road as an artist, and the normie is like, the normie is the person that doesn't. Here's what a normal person is. A normal person is somebody that thinks they can do what you do without going through the hell to do it. People that think they're funny, the average person, a lot of them think they're funny. And they may be funny in a controlled situation. But when we say funny here on this, or are real funny, it means that you can go anywhere in the world under any conditions and at some point elicit a laugh or comment. I don't care if you go to Botswana and bomb, but if you do a pod after it and talk about why you bombed and then break it down and I laugh, as long as I laugh at some point and see some social awareness, some room awareness, and awareness about yourself, then I'm going to say you're funny. You know what I'm saying? And that's why some comedians, people say, well, they're not funny. If certain comedians are saying, oh, they're not funny, I'll just rag on the comedian. But if I see that person and they've made a name for themselves, clearly someone thinks they're funny. So that to me is worth. And also, even if they haven't made a name for themselves, but they're out there grinding every night in every city and they're trying to get better, that's also worth a lot. But I think in the new social media era of entitlement, it's a disease on our art form for people that have to pick labels, whether you're a rapper, a dancer, or whatever. Like, I think we all know what a good dancer is, right? Like, a good dancer is, if you ever tried out for any dances, you gotta hit it in time, and if not, they cut you, And I think that, a lot of people wouldn't put a bad dance on TikTok because they know you can tell. But with comedy, it can be rewarded even if it's not really that good. But I think most of the time it isn't. But I think great comedy will be undeniable for everyone to notice. But it is a little bit harder to discern than other things, like acting. Some people may think, oh, it was a terrible performance. Other people may think, it was brilliant, So I think that's another thing. But the thing I want to say is that I like to come off stage. I'm going to start doing this rant because I have a vibe, And I think that if you're a young comic, I'm just going to speak to the young comics, like, and I had a great time tonight, and it was the person that was heckling, they had a good time, I think. And, I love it when chaos happens. I don't think I was mean. I don't think she was mean. I was talking to all these sweet comics after, and this other female comic was so sweet about, everything. And I'm trying not to talk about it too much but I wanted to talk about the essence of what I just felt like in the nutshell is that the person that was heckling was like, I'm a comedian too. And that's a little, and that's that's when I had to kind of set up the roast, because I didn't want to do it. But it's like, that's a big thing to say, to someone that no matter what, if I have no money, no name or whatever, I still have a skill that I've just ingratiated and ingrained in me for 32 years, 33 years now, 33. Ooh, shit, it's my 33rd year. And I think that is, yeah, really, I tried it in 1990 and did it a couple times, but I really started in 1991. 1990 is when I tried it a couple times, and after I bombed, like didn't kill, but did good once. Bomb, did okay, bomb, and I stopped. I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And then I did it again in 1991. And that's when I said, I just have to just do it. But I never told anybody I'm a comedian. I never said I was a comedian. I wasn't a comedian. I was a Little Caesars driver. I was a Pizza Hut driver. I was a massage therapist, literally errand boy. I was a caterer. I was a Red Lobster employee. I was a dishwasher. I was a party clown. I did party clowning and made balloons, and so I never told anyone that. And I said, and then eventually people would bring it out. They'd be like, "Well, you have something going on with you. You like do funny voices and your energy." They're like, "You're trying to be an actor, right?" I'm like, "I'm trying, but I'm not." And people just came more to me the more I learned. Like the first time I said I never said I was. And I think we have to really. If you respect yourself and if you want respect and if you respect this difficult but hugely rewarding and hugely difficult art form, I think you have to understand when you call yourself something, because words matter now more than ever, I think, which is a whole other podcast about this because I'm starting to read about it. But it's like, just say you're aspiring, Like, I'll never forget, I did a play. My acting teacher, I had an acting teacher who was very well respected. He coaches some of the biggest people in Hollywood, and he also had a class. So as he was teaching newbies like me, he was coaching legends like, I'm not going to take too much, but just like Keanu was one of them. And he said, "This is so good, I want to put it on its feet." And I was like, "What?" Like, I got voted like the best in class for this play I did. And he says, "I want to put it on its feet." And it was called The Dumbwaiter by Harold Pinter. And I knew that if I did plays and stuff, that'd be good, because it's much harder to do a play than it is a guest spot on Saved by the Bell. It's a different skill set, but it's much harder to do that because the disciplines you have to learn to walk the boards is much harder than just doing a guest spot on a TV show. Now, there's a lot of pressure also on the TV show, obviously probably more, but there's a lot more room there's not more room for forgiveness, but it's just, you're not dealing with people who do the stage and all this stuff and combat training. You're dealing with a lot. Like, there's people that are backup dancers in Starlight Express that are so much more disciplined than some big movie stars because they've come up through it. I always said that about that shit. The amount of work a Rockette puts in for the little bit of money they've done, it's incredible. Like, they should be huge stars. It's not fair, but what am I trying to tell you is that he anyway said this. He said, "You got to get the theater and all this stuff." And he goes, "I'll direct it, blah, blah, blah." It was a big prestigious thing. Anyway, I did it. I put it all up behind I put it up behind a stage behind Toy on Sunset. Toy, which was like my spot where I would eat. If I made a little money, I would go to Toy. People loved it. And then we got reviewed and we got destroyed in the review. Dramalog and I think Variety was like my first review ever. And they just destroyed me. Jamie Kennedy mistakes screaming for acting and it ruined me. But, and I'd never been reviewed before. But I did it. It was great. Maybe it wasn't The Dumbwaiter. Maybe it was another one. I did The Dumbwaiter and I did really good. Maybe it was another one. I don't know. Maybe it was Danny and Deep Blue Sea. The bottom line is this. Even when I was doing that play and I was getting reviewed and getting killed in my reviews, I still didn't tell people I was an actor. They said, "What do you do?" And I just said, "I'm just trying to, I started telling people I came to California because of weather, because I'm from the East Coast and I want warm weather." And they're like, "Oh, a lot of people do that." I was getting reviewed. I don't think I ever told anyone I was an actor or a comedian, and people until I started just keep getting successful, and I never told anybody. I never told anybody I did that until they told me, "Oh, you're that." And this isn't a diss. This isn't anything. I think because people tonight were great. The one person that might want to take this as a little bit of the person that was heckling because they were a comedian, and that's inviting drama when there's drama. You know what I'm saying? I think to anyone who's really doing it, just don't say it. I think it's much easier on you. People love humility. I think it's an underused asset in this day and age. There's enough people getting attention for stupid things, being stupid by other stupid people, and like, what we do. And if you've touched a microphone, I respect you. I don't care if you touched it once. I don't care if you touched it 1,000 times. I respect you, and you're in the road for a journey, and it's a journey that you have to enjoy. And there's gonna be terrible times, horrific times. There's gonna be amazing times, but you have to just enjoy the driving to the gig and touching the microphone and seeing your thoughts into it, and getting validation or none from the crowd. And I think that try to take labels out of it. If I can reach one young comedian to not say they're a comedian until like get a dry bar under your belt or a don't tell, or I don't know. Even I got a paid gig in '94. I was on TV as a comedian after only 3 years, and I still didn't feel like, and I was followed in '95 after 4 years as an up and coming comedian. I wasn't until I got my first write up that I started telling people. And even though I got reviewed as an actor, I still didn't say I was an actor until later. And I didn't even say it. I just was really scream. And then people started saying, "Oh, you're the dude from that movie." So this isn't a condemnation. This is just an observation. It's not a diss. I had a great time tonight. This show, I don't want to say it because if I do, then I'll put out what happened. But the fucking show was the most packed I've ever seen it. It was incredible. Woo, it was so good. The crowd was fucking. Enjoy it. The doing is the journey. There is no an award, a paying gig, all of that. It's the experience. I know that sounds so stupid and old and whatever, but it hit me. It took me till I was about fucking 45 to get that. So if you love it, you're doing it. Does that make sense?